Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video I just want to cover some teams that I thought were pretty interesting that I used on June 30th on stream. So I'm going to go ahead and just like commentate over the battles. It's pretty interesting teams, really great battles. So let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully I have sped up the video. Yep, I have. So the first one is this Swampert Double Dragon team, and basically the premise is to try to bait out the Melmetal. If I had Best Buddy Palkia, I'd actually be able to reach a breakpoint against Dragonite, but unfortunately I don't. And then here is where I wish I had Fire Blast, because if I had Fire Blast, I would have been able to take out this Melmetal and then flip the switch. Unfortunately, I do not. So I did TM my Palkia afterwards to Fire Blast because based off of this it was enough reason for me to want to TM, because hardly I would ever use Draco on Palkia. Obviously against Dialga or another dragon, it'd be really helpful. So I'm gonna let this go. They're gonna be able to land 2 superpowers before I can farm them down. And what do I do here? I think I actually switch here. This is a really tough matchup. Like, I think this is like almost impossible to win because I think they actually have Excadrill in the back. Yeah, so this is a pretty popular team comp. Dragonite Double Steel. It's also a popular team comp in Open Masters. So if you're looking for a strong team, this is certainly one of them. So I'm going to let this go. And then I'm going to throw the Draco here, but it really doesn't matter here. They could no-shield this, and then they would be able to finish me off with the Dragonite anyway. So, and then I'm just going to let this go because there's really not too much I could do in that particular matchup. So, first game was pretty rough, but obviously Dragonite lead and Double Steel in the back is going to be pretty rough for this particular team. Okay, so I have Zekrom. So Zekrom is not the worst matchup. So I can go straight EQ. I can live a Crunch, but I want to keep this alive. Mostly because like I do expect them to have a steal in the back. So I think I actually end up switching after this. Oh, they actually let it go. They come into Mewtwo, and they're going to switch out, and they have there you go, or anti-Dialga basically, which oftentimes also counters Palkia like decently. So both of my Pokemon are okay against. So I did expect them to go straight for it, because it's not really that logical for me to shield. But again, I also don't expect them to shield here because they're just going to save the shields for Mewtwo. This is just going to be a Fire Punch, so I'm not too concerned here. And then I should be able to... I'm not sure they lagged there, because that definitely should have... yeah, that definitely should have did more damage. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I don't think it actually makes that big a difference in this matchup. I ended up surviving this. Maybe it did make a difference. Let's see. So I switch out into Swampert, and I'm in a pretty good spot right now. I was really hoping that would KO, so which it did. And then basically I'm gonna like Dragon Breath down this Mewtwo. Well, yeah, I'm gonna be able to Dragon Breath down. They only have one move here, or they basically dumped all their energy onto Swampert, and I'm able to lead. So it didn't really make too big a difference in that matchup. The fact that they probably undercharged on purpose or bugged out. Okay, so this was an absolutely crazy game here. So for me, I hate baiting. And sometimes it's really difficult to bait because I have like 500-600 people watching. I'm not saying these people are watching, but they obviously watch how I play, so they know that I don't bait that often. I don't know. It's a difficult here. So I can go actually straight Earthquake and win the one shield, because I outpace. It takes 8.5 seconds for Dialga to get to each Iron Head, and then it takes me only 8 and 7 seconds to make it to each Earthquake. So I'm gonna shield this because Draco Meteor is going to KO. I actually didn't necessarily expect an Excadrill in the back. I have to throw right away. Normally, I wouldn't be able to make this Draco Meteor if we were at even energy without taking another Drill Run, which I would barely survive, because it takes like 10 seconds to get to two Drill Runs, and it takes me 12 seconds to make it to the Draco Meteor. So thankfully they didn't try to farm me down here. though like I would have made it to an Iron Head, and it would have made them really comfortable for them. I have to catch a move here, so I have to catch it. So I estimate that I need to like do like about 3 seconds worth of Dragon Breaths, and then I'm gonna catch here, and I end up catching the Draco Meteor, which was very fortunate for me. Just keeping track of the rough estimation of the energy, and then they have Groudon here, which is normally that would be okay, but they actually have Dragon Tail variant, and Aqua Tail is such a weak move, and they throw here. I'm able to get Dragon Breath in as I always should, and then the Fire Punch is double resisted because of the Dragon and Water typing. So and then I end up not taking the Dragon Tail because I'm only one Dragon Breath away, and then I'm able to faint down this Dialga and win with 1 HP. So this is like an ABB team, right? So I do have to. The thing is, like a Charmer would be really tough. Like a Swampert does beat Togekiss, but it's a really tough matchup. So they go into Snorlax here. So honestly, Shadow Snorlax is not something you normally see. So I do let this go. And then I'm going to throw the Hydro Cannon here. And then depending on how they play this is depending on my next move. So, and then I'm going to throw here. So they're basically like 3 licks away from or 2 licks away from the Body Slam. So they shield here. And obviously they want to throw before I get to the second Hydro Cannon. So I catch the Body Slam here. And then they decide to stay. And then for sure they're going to go for Superpower. And they definitely will make it. So I have to shield this. Or else it do quite a bit of damage. And they come into Mewtwo. So this is okay for me. This is definitely a Side Strike, so I don't need to shield. And I wasn't in Side Strike range here, so they have 3. So they need 2 more to make it to another Side Strike. I'm trying to make it to... Oh, they end up no shielding there. And then but I'm just able to barely farm them down. Which is a pretty interesting call there. So what do I do here? I think they let this go because they know it's an Iron Head. Good call by their side. And here I'm actually hoping that they don't shield this Hydro Cannon. So I make it super obvious. I don't try to build up at all. I just try to make it super obvious that it is going to be a Hydro Cannon. They end up shielding because that Hydro Cannon actually would do more than the Aqua Tail. So I end up shielding this. Basically, I can just farm down this Dialga at this point in time. I am waiting for their Snorlax to switch because I do need to throw a move at the Snorlax because I'm just going to Dragon Breath down this Dialga. Yeah, I'm going to Dragon Breath it down, and I'm able to just barely Dragon Breath it down. So, good game to my opponent there. And here comes Swampert into Ho-Oh. So this is a very awkward matchup here. It's obviously favorable for me, but unfortunately, like Swampert's so underpowered in Masters Classic. Like the Hydro Cannon just does barely over half. And they let me throw a second one here. So I'll try to throw at 7 and 2. 7, 2, and then I get extra Mud Shot through, which is really fortunate for me. So they're obviously going to just double Brave Bird me here. So I actually tried to catch the Brave Bird. They end up not throwing it because they're building up to 100. So it really sucked there. I was really hoping to catch the Brave Bird because I didn't want to shield the second time, but it didn't end up working out for me. So here comes the Excadrill. I make a mistake here. I should have Iron Headed. Yeah, because I just barely faint. I should have Iron Headed because they might have shielded. And the thing is, like, a Hydro Cannon's going to KO this thing regardless. So whether I throw the Iron Head or not, I'm not going to be able to Mud Shot down because it only does about 30%. So I'm going to take out this Excadrill here. I think do they end up shielding this? Yeah, they end up shielding this. And then I'm just barely able to beat them by 1 turn here. So the shield was kind of weird there, to be honest. And then I switch out. Because they come to Ho-Oh, which they don't have enough energy. Unfortunate for them is that I did TM my Palkia to Fire Blast, which is a tremendous amount of energy. And then I'm able to land the Fire Blast onto this Malmetal, which is an absolutely gorgeous feeling. Another Rock Slide wouldn't have KO'd me, and then as well, like the Incinerates are double resisted there. So don't mind the background noise. It is Canada Day, so people are celebrating. So here, this is a very interesting team. This is a triple ground team with Dragon Tail, Sandtomb, Outrage, Garchomp. You can certainly use Earth Power. I just didn't have Earth Power on my already powered up one. So they superpower here, which is actually pretty interesting. And then they actually make a very nice catch there. So I do expect it to be double flyers. So they end up making the catch, which is nice on their side. And I'm going to one shield and farm this down. I think I let this go. This is a Dark Pulse. Yeah, I let this go. I thought about shielding there, but it didn't really matter there. And their Melmetal's not quite at the move, so I throw the Bulldoze here, expecting a shield, because it does do quite a bit of damage. They have no shielding because they can survive. And I let this go. I thought about shielding there. I also thought about going to Excadrill here, which is what I probably should have done. Yeah, so definitely what I should have done. I chipped this away. And then the Lugia 2-shield matchup is very, very uncomfortable, unfortunately, for the Excadrill, just because Aeroblast does so much damage. And these Dragon Tails are really adding up, and as well, my Mud Shots are double resisted. I do get the Mud Shot through. I do end up shielding this, expecting them to go straight Aeroblast, but they don't. So I'm going to do 4 more Mud Shots, then throw. And then, what do I do here? I throw 1, then throw it. But I'm in an okay spot here, regardless. They make a very nice play here. I shield this. The Aeroblast. Okay, so they make a very nice catch. It doesn't really make too big a difference. The Melmetal had a little bit of energy, but not too much. I'm going to be able to live a Sky Attack here. Yeah, I'm going to be able to live a Sky Attack and then throw the Rock Slide here against this Lugia. And then I'm going to be able to Dragon Tail down this this Lugia. I might have been able to make it to the Outrage anyway, so this is a very spicy team. Triple ground is kind of crazy here. So the Zekrom matchup is pretty interesting here. So I think they actually make a catch here. I go straight for the Sandtomb. I think I let this go. I let this go because I lived the crunch. And then I expect them to have Melmetal in the back, which my back line is okay against. So I switch out to Mamoswine. They come into Mewtwo, which is not a great situation for me, and they get a Psycho Cut through, which is very bad for me. Looks like they're building up to quite a bit of energy. They're gonna fake the Focus Blast. Like, there's no way they Focus Blast me here. That doesn't make any sense to Focus Blast when the Psystrike does so much damage. I end up double shielding. The reason I double shield that is because I got them Powder Snow through, and I'm gonna build up a couple here, and they get no Psycho Cut through, which is good for me, because and then I make a risky play here. I decide to farm down. Well, I guess I end up KOing. Okay, so I make a mistake here. I should have did 2 Powder Snows then through, and then they make a really nice call here. I switch here, and I transfer the Incinerate, which is a really bad call. And I actually thought they were going to try to catch, which is why I didn't throw. They ended up throwing the Brave Bird at me. Ah, man. I would have won CMP versus the Ho-Oh as well. And I don't think it would have KO'd, but certainly did a lot of damage. And they make a really nice play here by resetting. And then I overtapped there, which I'm not. I hit the charge move there. It wouldn't have mattered though, because I would have got 1 more Mud Shot and it would have been 1 short anyways. But it sucked that I tried to hit it after two Powder Snows, but didn't end up happening. So that's quite alright though. So a couple misplays by me there, a little bit better timing on the Powder Snows, and I would have been in a pretty good spot here. So I ended up switching out because even though the Dragon Tails are hitting for neutral and the Sandtombs are going to do quite a bit, it's just not worth it to sacrifice that much of Garchomp. So I end up baiting here. You can win straight Bulldoze. So I'm not entirely sure the bait was the right call there. Certainly not. And then I throw the Avalanche at this Mewtwo, which is going to do quite a bit of damage. And what do I do here? I think I let this go. Oh, I shield this. Okay. Interesting. I overfarm a little bit just in case they try to CMP time me, that I'm like a little bit over what I normally would be. So they don't take any risks there, and they throw. And then I go to Excadrill here. I know they're going to CMP time me, but I just have to throw, because if they make it to a Shadow Ball, then I'll be in huge trouble. So I throw the Drill Run here. This Dialga is pretty low, with a very low energy. And then here comes Excadrill. So I'm actually just gonna be able to farm down this Dialga, which is super nice for me. And then I'm gonna be able to get to this Outrage here. And as you can see, how much damage I took from those Dragon Breaths alone it just wasn't worth it. And then I'm able to Outrage and take out the Giratina, which was really nice here. Okay, so Giratina normally would be a little bit more of an issue. But these Dragon Tails are really chunky. They threw at a kind of weird time there. So I'm able to get a whole Dragon Tail through. And then they come into Dialga here. I throw the Outrage here. I do expect them to shield, because it potentially could be an Earth Power, because most people are would be carrying Sand Tomb Earth Power. And then I throw the Drill Run here. And this is just me not being comfortable with like potential lag and all that stuff, because this is clearly an Iron Head. But I shield anyways. Not necessarily my smartest play there. And what happens here? I'm going to build up a little bit, because I can live whatever move here. Shadow Sneak is a pretty weak move. And Alter doesn't necessarily have the highest attack. They actually are trying to catch the Drill Run there, which would have been a really nice play. I'm actually going to throw both throw both Rock Slides here to grab a shield, because once I grab the shield, this game's over, right? They would have a chance if they no shielded this, but that's like an almost impossible call to make, right? So I'm basically just looking to farm this down, and then I win CMP versus Giratina Altered pretty easily. So I think we have one more battle here. Okay, so Palkia, kind of a weird matchup here, I'm not going to lie. We both have Dragon Tail. We're both doing tremendous amount of damage. I get an extra Dragon Tail through, which means I can potentially farm down. I make kind of misplay here, 2, 3, and then I switch out here because I have an Outrage banked. And then they come into Mewtwo, which is actually not that bad for me. They get a Psycho Cut through, so now we're even on energy. And then I expect them to have a Malmetal in the back, I believe. This is a pretty tough situation for... They end up having Togekiss here. So this is okay for me. And I throw the Rock Slide here. I grab the Shield, which is fantastic for me. And then I'm basically going to shield whatever from the Togekiss, because the Mewtwo has no energy. This is likely an Ancient Power, which I would definitely live. But this is totally fine. And I'm going to be able to double up here. I exactly double up. And I'm going to be able to throw the Avalanche here. As I said earlier, I had an Outrage banked. So this is the reason why I banked it. So I'm going to be able to throw the Avalanche, throw the Outrage, and take out my opponent there. I really like this team. It was a very spicy team. I think I battled someone later on the next day that was using this team. So I really like it. I think it's a very spicy team if you're looking for some like interesting team compositions. So let me know what you think of those teams. One with Swampert lead, then one that's triple ground. So I had a lot of fun using them. So if you guys like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see everyone in the next video.